Let's talk ethanol now. Renewable Fuels Association joining us, Geoff Cooper. Well, Geoff, ethanol, pretty big week, lots of things, maybe not necessarily everything for the best. One of the things that we're just learning more about is what's going to happen now with bill in the Senate. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right. Just yesterday, Senators Feinstein and Toomey introduced what they're calling the Corn Ethanol Elimination Act. Corn Ethanol Mandate Elimination Act is what they're calling it. And basically they're seeking to eliminate the portion of the renewable fuel standard where corn ethanol qualifies. And they're doing it on the basis, they're trying to justify it on the basis of higher food prices and higher fuel prices and all the same myths and misinformation we've been hearing about ethanol for years.
What are you hearing as far as its prognosis? How fast are they going to try to move on this?
Well, we don't think it really has a chance. Actually, the same legislation was introduced as an amendment to the Keystone XL bill back in January. And it was quickly withdrawn because, there were a bunch of Midwestern senators on both sides of the aisle that said, if this thing is attached to the Keystone bill, we can't vote for it. So the amendment was pulled off of that bill. It's the exact same piece of legislation, just reintroduced as a standalone bill. But bottom line is it's not going anywhere. It's a messaging bill. They're trying to send a shot across the bow. And again, I don't think it stands a chance.
All right. Let's also talk about the other thing that you work a lot on is making sure we all know kind of that weekly ethanol report, how much ethanol is being produced.
Sure.
Where are we right there?
Well, I tell you, the ethanol industry has been running at extremely high output rates. We've been producing on an annualized basis about 14.6, 14.7 billion gallons recently. Unfortunately, we're carrying a little more ethanol than we probably should be. The stocks are at very high levels, highest since 2012. And so that is, affecting the market a little bit and has compressed margins somewhat. But we're expecting exports to pick up. We're expecting domestic blending demand to pick up as we move into the summer driving season. So some of that excess stocks will get worked off the market.
Let's talk about some good news. You've continuing to have people find where ethanol is available through some social media. Tell us about those.
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing we hear from people all the time who own FFEs is, I would use E85 if I just knew where to buy it. And so we did just this week acquire really the industry-leading website that helps consumers find E85 stations in their neighborhoods and also allows them to report the prices they paid for E85 relative to other fuel choices. So it's E85prices.com is the website. Along with that, we acquired the rights to another 11 or 12 affiliated websites. And our intent is to take that website, which is already a very good resource, and do even more with it and really polish it up and get it further out. Last year it had about 3 million hits, so it is absolutely the go-to source for information on where to find E85 and what the price is going to be.
Recently had the annual meeting of the Renewable Fuel Standard. Talk about those in attendance and maybe the message you all delivered to the membership.
Sure. No, we had a great turnout at our meeting last week in Dallas, over 1,000 people. Very positive vibe, even though, the industry is going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. But 2014 was a banner year for the industry, probably the best margins ever. Very good profitability, record output. So a positive vibe certainly at our meeting last week. I think the message, the theme throughout the conference was, we are really just beginning to tap into global export demand for ethanol. We've seen exports pretty strong the last few years, but we see tremendous opportunity for growing exports even further. I mean, we have, the situation here in the U.S. where EPA has kind of put handcuffs on the industry and getting the RFS implemented as it was designed has been challenging. So we're also focusing on moving more product overseas.
All right, Geoff. Well, always more issues than we probably have time to talk about. So thanks. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you.
Geoff Cooper with the Renewable Fuels Association has joined us. That's the AgView from Phoenix. I'm Ken Rogers.